Uncovering the Black Box, U.S. Aid, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and corporate kickbacks. In the world of philanthropy, the line between charity and business often becomes blurred. Over the past few decades, major charitable foundations, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, have grown into powerful global players. While they publicly portray themselves as philanthropic organizations aiming to solve the world's most pressing issues, there is increasing evidence that they may also serve as vehicles for financial manipulation, corporate influence, and opaque government operations. At the heart of this controversy is the growing concern over how these foundations are used to facilitate questionable financial dealings, including bribery, kickbacks, and the covert financing of operations typically reserved for government agencies. In this context, U.S. foreign aid, and its intersection with the work of influential foundations, has come under intense scrutiny, especially as similar tactics used by the CIA have been observed in these organizations. The foundations and their financial networks. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the largest charitable organizations in the world, has long been accused of operating less like a traditional charity and more like a conduit for corporate interests and political influence. Bill Gates himself has built a massive fortune, primarily from his work with Microsoft, but he is also known for his extensive investments in pharmaceutical companies, agricultural tech, and other industries that align with his foundation's mission. While Gates has publicly claimed that he does not personally spend his wealth, his financial dealings suggest a different story. His foundation often invests in the very companies it funds, using philanthropic endeavors as a vehicle for stock ownership and financial gain. This creates a cyclical flow of money that enriches Gates and his business partners under the guise of philanthropy. Beyond Gates, other prominent foundations, such as the Clinton, Obama, and Bush foundations, have similarly drawn criticism. These organizations have been accused of accepting large, tax-exempt corporate donations that appear to function as indirect kickbacks. Corporate donations, often funneled through the guise of charitable contributions, raise the question: are these donations truly altruistic, or are they part of a larger financial strategy to avoid taxes while gaining political leverage? While the foundations maintain that their activities support global development and humanitarian causes, critics argue that these donations frequently serve as a tool for powerful elites and corporations to gain influence over international policy, trade agreements, and access to markets. For example, pharmaceutical giants, often linked to Gates Foundation, are said to benefit from the foundation's interventions in public health systems, which align with their business interests in vaccines and medical treatments. U.S. aid and CIA tactics, a parallel system of financial operations. The controversy surrounding these foundations is further complicated by their close ties to U.S. foreign aid programs and government-backed initiatives. The U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has long been a tool for the U.S. government to exert influence over foreign governments and to promote American interests globally. However, USAID's operations have often been linked to covert CIA activities. USAID and its affiliated organizations have, at times, been used as cover for CIA operations, funneling resources into foreign countries under the guise of humanitarian aid, while advancing strategic political and economic objectives. The tactics used by USAID and the CIA are mirrored in the operations of these major foundations. While their public-facing initiatives focus on improving global health, poverty alleviation, and education, a closer examination reveals patterns of financial operations that resemble the covert activities of intelligence agencies. In particular, the foundation's ability to collect vast sums of money through tax-exempt donations without significant oversight from Congress or the public offers a mechanism for financing politically sensitive or classified projects. Just as the CIA has historically used nonprofit organizations, such as the National Endowment for Democracy, NED, to conduct covert operations, these foundations serve as a black box for similar financial maneuvers. The foundations effectively sidestep government accountability, funding operations that could otherwise be questioned or denied by Congress. This has raised concerns about whether these private entities are being used to finance initiatives that benefit corporate interests, political allies, and strategic geopolitical objectives, without needing to secure approval from lawmakers or the public. Evidence of corruption and financial mismanagement. Recent reports and investigations have revealed instances of corruption, mismanagement, and financial abuse within the operations of these foundations. In 2023, An internal audit of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation uncovered significant discrepancies in the allocation of funds, with billions being funneled into private companies tied to Gates himself. These companies, which often provide the products and services funded by the foundation, stand to benefit immensely from these charitable donations, creating a financial ecosystem that critics argue blurs the line between philanthropy and corporate profit. Similarly, the Clinton Foundation has faced multiple allegations of ethical violations, including accusations that it accepted donations from foreign governments and corporations seeking political favors. While the foundation maintains that its activities support vital global initiatives, including the fight against HIV/AIDS and the promotion of economic development, the political connections of the Clintons, particularly Bill Clinton's post-presidential involvement, have led some to question whether these initiatives are merely a cover for financial gain. The Obama Foundation, while newer than the Clinton and Gates Foundations, is already under scrutiny for its ties to corporate donors and political elites. Reports suggest that major corporations with interests in sectors such as technology, energy, and media have made substantial donations to the foundation, raising concerns about potential conflicts of interest and undue corporate influence on political decision-making. Conclusion: the dark side of global philanthropy. The emergence of private foundations as powerful financial players has altered the global philanthropic landscape. While many of these organizations continue to present themselves as champions of global good, their financial operations raise uncomfortable questions about corruption, kickbacks, and covert political agendas. The lack of transparency and oversight in these foundations' operations allows them to operate with relative impunity, funneling vast sums of money into corporate hands while evading scrutiny from Congress and the public. As such, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, along with the Clinton, Obama, and Bush foundations, exemplify how the intersection of philanthropy, politics, and corporate interests can sometimes create a perfect storm for financial mismanagement and potential corruption. These organizations, whether intentionally or not, have become part of a broader system that mirrors tactics used by intelligence agencies and government-backed operations, creating a black box of financing that exists outside of the usual checks and balances of democratic governance. The question remains: are these foundations genuinely committed to improving the world, or are they simply another avenue for powerful elites to amass wealth and influence, all while operating in the shadows of government oversight?